session is going to focus on the heartword routine that we can utilize in our primary classrooms to help students learn high-frequency words using orthographic mapping. First, it's important to understand in the context of our 95% group core, what is being referred to as a high-frequency word. A high-frequency word is a word that is used frequently in texts that students read. High-frequency words can be regular or irregular. For example, in first grade 95 core, regular high-frequency words are words like just or ask, because those are words that follow regular spelling patterns that students can encode. Irregular high-frequency words require a lot more direct and explicit instruction. There's a part of the word that's tricky, usually the vowel sound, that students don't know what to expect in terms of the letters that spell the sounds they're hearing. Examples of these types of irregular words would be words like from or of. The heartword routine allows students to apply orthographic mapping to these high-frequency words. It allows students to understand that part of the word is tricky, but the entire word does not need to be memorized. Most of the word follows regular spelling patterns. So let's think about some words that you might see kids confusing. Look for like, on and no, me and my, saw and was, his or has. These are very common mistakes that we see in early readers. Students that are making these mistakes are not looking at all the letters in order and making the grapheme-phoneme correspondence. Students that are making these mistakes are picking out certain features or letters of the word, having memorized the word, and guessing what the correct word is based on the letters that they see, with little regard to the order that the letters are in. With the heartword routine, we eliminate guessing because we're showing students what to expect when they encode or decode a word. We teach students that words are read from left to right every single time. That students have to look at every letter of the word in order. The order of the letter matters when we're reading and writing. With a regular high-frequency word, we can use the orthographic mapping just like we do our other words in 95% core. This is a routine that we utilize frequently in decodable text for repeated exposure of these words because we know that the more times a student maps the word, that the more automatic it will become that student will become at retrieving the word. Irregular high-frequency words have an unexpected part that students have not yet been explicitly taught. Therefore, sometimes words may be a heartword in one grade and become a regular high-frequency word in another grade. For example, these are some high-frequency words on the screen that kindergartners may need to know in order to be successful with reading early text. Students have not learned in kindergarten the vowel consonant E or silent E pattern. They have not learned that V is always followed by E at the end of a word. And they don't know open syllables. So therefore, these words have irregular parts. By the time the same child reaches the middle of first grade, like will now be a regular high-frequency word because students know vowel consonant E. By second grade, have, go, and my are all going to be rules and syllable patterns that have been taught explicitly to our students, and they're going to be regular high-frequency words. So regular versus irregular words can change over time. There There's a script that had been sent out and is also available in the 95% core folder that you can utilize to help you teach high-frequency words with the heart routine. Let's look at an example right now. My word is said. I'm going to say said and have my students repeat it back. Said. Next, we're going to finger stretch the sounds. Ed. There's 3 sounds in said. So therefore, I'm going to color in the circle on 3 of my boxes. Next, I know that usually the heart part is the vowel sound. So the s is probably regular. You know how to spell s. You spell s with the letter S. I know that d, the last sound in the word, is also regular. But that vowel part is the tricky part. Instead, the F is represented by the letters AI. I'm going to add a heart above AI because that's the part that I need to learn by heart and remember. Everybody, what's our tricky part? You're right, the letters AI are the tricky part. Let's try another one. Our next word is from. Everybody say from. Let's finger stretch the sounds. This word has 4 sounds, so I'm going to color in 4 boxes. Next, I know again that my vowel is usually my tricky sound, so we know how to spell s. We know how to spell r. And we know how to spell the last sound m. Now that vowel sound in from is actually spelled with the letter O. This is the part we need to know by heart. Everybody, what's the tricky part in from? You're right, it's the letter O. When we practice these high-frequency words in reading, you can use flashcards after the words have been explicitly taught and the students are learning these words for fluency practice. You can even add a heart part above the heart part of the word as a scaffold for a little while. Students can be word detectives and go through and highlight or circle high-frequency words in decodable text before reading. And we need to remind students every time they get to one of these words that there's just a tricky part. The whole word isn't tricky. When we get to irregular high-frequency words with writing, we can utilize skywriting to help our students. After skywriting, we're going to ask our students to close their eyes and begin to visualize the tricky part of the word. Ask them what the tricky part is before you spell, then spell the word and read the word. Writing on the desk with the fingers is another quick way to practice. And remember, always ask students what is the tricky part. These next few slides are a review of how using orthographic mapping is going to help our students get these high-frequency words more automatic in long-term memory to ease reading and writing. So when you're in your own classroom, you need to make sure that frequent distributed practice is provided with our high-frequency words throughout each school day. That's another reason we've asked you to take the high-frequency words from day 5 and put them back starting on day 1 so you can practice these words all throughout the week. You're going to model reading and writing the tricky parts of words as often as possible and give students the opportunity as frequently as you can to map high-frequency words so that they do become what we call a sight word and that automatic retrieval. Please remember that posting the words or using a book like a dictionary for students to look up a word and check and write it every time is not going to increase their orthographic mapping and help this word become a sight word. What's going to help them remember the word is writing the sounds in order and then remembering just that tricky part, usually a vowel sound.